who are here using Recovery Act dollars to help help the private sector install charging stations around the region. And it's not just the charging stations, it's also the manufacturers of the vehicles. We have Tesla here today leading the way in building this new clean energy economy and providing jobs today for Americans, providing innovation and technology that the rest of the world can use. And thanks to investments through the Recovery Act and investments from the Department of Energy, as well as state and local government, the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, we're able to show in a place like San Francisco how you can harness funds and, more importantly, harness the ingenuity and the talent, the innovative talent and the entrepreneurial spirit of Americans and of this region in particular. And Mayor Lee, it's projects like this Green Vehicle Showcase and your goals of making this city the EV capital of the United States that are really building this 21st century infrastructure and helping us to win the future. And this is all about infrastructure that we're talking about here today. This is electric vehicle infrastructure, but we also need to make investments in our roads, in our bridges, in transit, and thinking about ways that we can revolutionize the way that we finance infrastructure. And look at things like wireless coverage. Certainly a place like San Francisco, you don't need a lot of help with wireless coverage since it was pretty much invented here. But there are places around the country that can't take advantage of that, of all of the economic benefits that wireless coverage brings in connecting to the digital age. And these are the kinds of investments that will help our businesses grow faster, that will provide jobs for Americans, that will provide fields of study for our students. And we have to continue to invest, as the President said, in electric vehicles. We need to continue to invest in things like high-speed rail, which has the potential for tremendous benefits for mobility around California and other places that will help us move our economy, clean our environment, and make life better for all Americans. So we've already seen how these kinds of investments can make a real difference. One example is in the manufacturing of batteries for electric vehicles. Before the Recovery Act, there were just a few domestic manufacturers of batteries and none at scale. And now the United States is in the position to have about 15% of the worldwide battery market, and on the road to getting up to 40% of the market for advanced batteries for electric vehicles. But it isn't all about public sector investment, and there are other things that the public sector can do, and we've done that by using our administrative power to set tough new fuel economy standards, working with the state of California to make sure that we are saving oil, saving people money, and protecting our planet. So we know we have to continue these kinds of investments, these kinds of innovations, so we can keep this country moving forward. And it is American innovation that will drive the rest of the world, and the rest of the world needs our innovation. So I'm so proud to be here in San Francisco on this beautiful day to see all the great things that you're doing, Mayor Lee, that the city is doing, and that this region is doing, coming together to really win the future. Thank you very much. Higher than mine.
Let's see how that works.
Thank you, Mayor Lee. Thank you, Chairwoman Sutley. Our next speaker is San Francisco's Mayor Edwin Lee. Prior to being named mayor a month ago, Mr. Lee had served as San Francisco City Administrator. In that position, among many other distinguished duties, he led our city's effort to make San Francisco and the Bay region EV ready. Now, as mayor, I know his quest for EV readiness and clean tech job growth continues. I am pleased to present Mayor Edwin Lee.
Thank you, Melanie. And thank you, Nancy Sutley, for bringing such great information. And I think the policy of our country, I think, is very, very well represented in your position there. Thank you very much for coming out. I want to welcome Nancy Sutley. Also want to welcome Jared Blumenfeld, who's been a great partner for many, many years as our head of our environment before, but now at the EPA, and in our Bay Area Air Quality District. Thank you very much for being here today, along with so many others. What I want to say here is you're standing in a natural environment. The sun's shining on you, the wind pleasantly blowing. Well, this is the vision that we all came to California for, was to protect this natural resource that we have of great air, of a great sunshine, just the natural surroundings. And I think that this EV program that we are launching is really a reflection of a vision that occurred many years ago, certainly with my predecessor, shared that vision with me, when we were all struggling with higher prices of oil and gas, the carbon emissions that was killing our cities all over the country. And we said to ourselves as San Franciscans, we can do better. It began with that vision. And we began by saying to ourselves, if we got all the right people together, our ideas, the frustrations around the early adopters and the older programs and the car manufacturers' promises and lack of keeping them for many years, all of that could be behind us if we got everybody together and we started matching notes and we started thinking smartly and gaining more partnerships as we do so. And I'm just thinking that at this stage in my life with this particular position, I never thought that visioning was as important as getting things done. But now I see the role that providing an adequate vision for people and making it work is as important as carrying out all the promises we make to all of our residents and all the people that we serve. But it's in that context that we do this. And so I want to provide that really overall framework, because that's why we welcome Nancy and Jared and the Bay Area Air Quality Act to work with the charging station manufacturers, the car manufacturers, our 10 or more city departments to all come together. 2 years ago, the vision was shared in very much detail with Gavin Newsom and I and the Department of the Environment to say that San Francisco will carry out this mission and be the model for the rest of the country. We wanted that leadership. We wanted to create not only San Francisco, because we knew in talking with the car manufacturers, it would never happen if a single city acted by itself. What we wanted to do in talking with all of the advocates for carbon emissions reductions, for our environmental protectors, we wanted to make sure that we stretched the whole 9 Bay Area counties. So we began meeting that vision and sharing that vision with people in Sonoma, people in all the way to Santa Clara and in between. And in every one instance that we had with their fleet managers, with their city managers, with their mayors, we began to discover everyone else wanted to share in that vision. And so it was natural for us to begin talking as a region to create the country's first electric vehicle corridor, not only to announce it, but to actually build it. And that we needed the participation of the car manufacturers. Tell us, what do you need? If you're really going to seriously roll these vehicles out, and it looks like you're trying to invest in it, but you got some anxiety. What is that anxiety in rolling those cars out? Well, they shared with us. The buyers, they got range anxiety. They got anxiety around who's going to put these, how do these chargers get built in their homes and in their offices? Are they going to experience, Ed Lee, your city minister, are you going to experience the 6 or 9 months of times it takes to get a permit out of your city? All of that was discussed, and we internalized it. And we got every other representative of other counties, building inspectors in the same room. We got PG&E in the same room. We got our own public utilities in the same room, and we matched notes. And we said, we got to take care of this bureaucracy. We got to build faith in what we're doing, as well as share the vision. So it wasn't just visioning. It was figuring out what all the fears are in allowing ourselves to be successful in saving our planet. Because that's ultimately what it's been. We're the only obstacle to a better world, is ourselves. And if we can reduce those bureaucracies, if we can reduce the obstacles we've man-made, we are on our way to building, I think, the the most exciting experiment in this whole country. Not just welcoming the electric vehicles, but the infrastructure that needs to support it. And then the buyers and the homeowners and the residents and the businesses will come and they will buy these cars because they already sense we've got to change the way we live in order to have a planet that we can be proud of for our kids. So many, many months went in. Many entities participated. All 12 different agencies of our city, from our Public Utilities Commission to our MTA with all the garages they have, to the Department of Public Works and helping us pull wires, to even have this very site that we have for our charging stations and all the other work that they're doing, to our continued leadership by the Department of Environment, to even our libraries and our golf courses talking with us about how they can support the charging stations in their jurisdictions. We have so many other departments to thank, and I want to just mention our GSA, our fleet managers, our planning department, our recreation and park department. They're going to be figuring out very big in this rollout effort. Our redevelopment agencies, our port authority. Gosh, they've got the first charger with a credit card. You can use it. Pier 26. Go down there and take a look at it. Our airport's got to have clean air. You know that, we know that, and it's a natural fit for them to be part of our initial leg on our experiment with our own fleets. As well as now, and it has been a lot, led by the mayor's office. You've got to have the leadership from the top all the way through our board of supervisors and others working together. So I want to take that time to explain to you why so many entities have to come together, because it is life-changing for us when we do this. So when we announce that by the end of the summer, 50 charging stations will be installed in our garages, our public garages, you have to appreciate what the work it took to get everybody aboard on that. And then by the end of the year, there'll be over 90 of these chargers. That's just in San Francisco. It's being repeated in every city in the whole corridor because we agreed to implement this for ourselves. We got everybody on that page. And I want to say to Nancy and to Jared and to our Bay Area Quality Act, please bring the message back that the president's got great partners in San Francisco and the whole Bay Area, that we join together with his effort to find the alternative way to save our world and save our planet and to make it much more livable. That's what I came to work in San Francisco for. That's what I've spent all these years doing, is trying to make things better for everybody. This is our future that we're talking about. And so when the charging companies came to us and they gave us the details of all the different things that they were doing, and that when they were meeting with car manufacturers to create the national standard. Remember 2 years ago, we didn't have a national standard for what plugs you would use. We're there today. And for them to hear that we're doing our part and we're working with them. You got the manufacturers that are rebounding on the economy, making sure that our American cars reflect the kind of cars we want to buy. Then you're talking about the charging station manufacturers working with us. Then you're talking about all of our city agencies working with our federal government and all the agencies that want to make sure that we're doing it correctly. So we like the fact that the federal stimulus monies come through the federal agencies. They come through the Bay Area for review, and we share that with all of the Bay Area jurisdictions so we can build a whole corridor. That's what's behind this effort. So I wanted to spend that moment just to tell you and to explain to you the complications there are, but the tremendous effort behind this. And it's worth every minute of that struggle, because in a short couple of years, you start seeing these charging stations roll out in front of libraries, in our car sharing sites that we plan to have all over our great city, and that we not only will have the private sector participate in this, our own city fleet will have a direct benefit of this. We are going to start an experiment with our taxi fleet to potentially have the very first battery swap operation in the taxi fleet. So your taxis will go from San Francisco to San Jose on totally 100% battery operated. How much carbon emission reduction will that help do? So with everybody's help, with the support of our federal friends, with all the cooperation we have and all the agencies. I want to thank everybody here for listening to me for so long, but for an important message that we strive to do this. It's complicated, but we're committed, and it's not just a vision, it's implementing it every step of the way and doing it for the sake of our children. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mayor Lee. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency is one of the central agencies of the federal government for implementing President Obama's policies for innovation and job growth through clean technologies. We're very pleased to have with us today the Region 9 EPA Administrator, Jared Blumenfeld. Mr. Blumenfeld he's been a leader in the field of environment and innovation for quite some time. His distinguished career includes being my predecessor as the former Director of Department of the Environment. So please help me welcome Jared Blumenfeld.
Thank you, Melanie. Most people, you get someone from Washington, D.C., you're not quite sure how important they are. Nancy Sutley is incredibly important. She really is the advisor on all issues relating to environment and green jobs to the president. She sits there right across from the White House, and she's a Californian, so she gets these issues. She gets why it's important to get stuff done at the local level, and I'm just thrilled that I'm sure she wanted to pick L.A., but her better judgment told her I should come to San Francisco and visit with Mayor Ed Lee. As you could just hear from that really eloquent discourse, Ed not only has the vision, but understands the nuts and bolts of how to get stuff done. And that's what this is all about. The first thing I want to say about electric vehicles is they are not a fad. They are here to stay. Our cable cars in San Francisco have been electricity powered for over 100 years. The F line that goes along Market Street in the Wharf has been powered. The Geary line has been powered by electricity. This is not a new invention. I think when people saw the economy tanking and our major auto manufacturers really struggling, the president came forward and said, we're going to do two things. We're going to regulate tailpipe emissions for greenhouse gases, and we're going to help you recover. And what did they do? Behind us, we have the Chevy Volt. Chevy, an American manufacturer, along with Tesla and many others, are saying this is the future. So I think many people 4 or 5 years ago saw this as Jetson technology. A few people are going to have it. It's going to be a boutique thing. This is the new mainstream. So people will have these in their houses, and they're going to have them in California first. EPA's job is to make sure the air is clean. In California, vehicle emissions are still the #1 source of air pollution. Kids are still going to hospital because of asthma. 9,000 people a year die from air pollution, and much of that is from vehicle emissions. Every electric vehicle that we have, especially here in San Francisco, where they plug into a clean grid powered by the Public Utilities Commission, energy from Hetch Hetchy, every one of those vehicles is preventing a kid going to hospital for asthma. We need to accelerate this trend to make it the norm, and we can do that with people like the mayor of San Francisco and Nancy Sutley and the people behind me. So we are proud to really think about the power of government to buy. If you think about the Department of Defense, if you think about the General Services Administration, if you think about the huge number of people fighting wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, those people can be using electric vehicles. Every time you're not using fuel that needs to go in a convoy, you're potentially saving lives. So this is part of a discussion about national security and oil. As oil approaches $100 a barrel, these become very attractive propositions. And finally, here in San Francisco, you're also piloting the smart grid, which allows you to put energy back into the grid at times of peak energy use and take energy for your car at times when it's very inexpensive. So these are ways of transporting energy and transporting you. I want to particularly point out Vandana and Bob Hayden, who have done so much for the city to make this project happen, and I'm just thrilled to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, Melanie.
In addition to the efforts by cities and counties in the Bay Area, our regional governmental agencies are essential for bringing the resources together for clean tech innovation and electric transportation. One of our key regional agencies is the Bay Area Air Quality Management District. I'm pleased to introduce Jean Ragenkamp, hope I got that right, Deputy Executive Director of the Air District, to say a few words about the important role they are playing in spurring EV infrastructure development in the region. Jean?
Thank you, Melanie, and welcome, Nancy Sutley. We're pleased to have you back in California. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here today with you representing the Bay Area Air District and working together for a clean air future here in the region. In the Bay Area, as Jared mentioned, transportation is the source of about 50% of our air pollution problems and about 40% of our greenhouse gas impacts. We have over 5 million vehicles registered here in the region, and we've got to reduce the emissions from these vehicles in order to meet our health-based state and federal ambient air quality standards and also to reach our greenhouse gas reduction goals. Advances in electric vehicle technology can definitely be a practical solution to these two goals. Production of electric vehicles and the charging infrastructure can absolutely be part of our economic development, local jobs, and stimulate our local economy. And while the electric vehicle industry and charging industry has been busy developing the technology, the Air District has been working to make sure that we're ready for these vehicles as they arrive. We recently committed $6 million to jumpstart the charging infrastructure in the Bay Area. These funds will help install more than 400 new publicly available charging spots around 70 different locations in the region. And this investment will also fund 2,500 charger installations in Bay Area homes for those who purchase electric vehicles, and a network of 50 fast chargers on Bay Area highways, along Bay Area highways, and parking areas around the region. The Bay Area is the logical choice for further investment in electric vehicle technology. The district's commitment to regional charging system funding, the willingness of the Bay Area public to purchase electric vehicles will further enhance this region's attractiveness as a national leader in clean air transportation. Clean vehicles mean healthy air and smart transportation choices. We're very excited to join with our federal and local partners, as well as our private sector partners, in our collective commitment to zero-emission vehicle technology. Together, we will demonstrate that electric vehicles can drive a strong region in terms of economic development and environmental health. And now, let's hear from our private sector partners.
Thank you, Jean. As you've just heard, government has an essential role in making this innovation happen. But of course, the front line is achieving success in the private sector. The Bay Area is home to a growing number of the top EV industry leaders, and we have representatives here today from several of those leading companies. There's going to be 5 speakers, and those speakers are Richard Lowenthal of Coulomb Technologies, Eric Whitaker of Tesla Motors, Alana Chavez of Ecotality, Jason Wolf of Better Place, Rafael Reyes of Bay Area Climate Collaborative, a public-private partnership. Each of them is going to say a few words about their innovative work.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm Richard Lowenthal. I'm with Coulomb, and we're really happy to hear it pronounced properly. It's a rare occurrence. Thank you for being here, and Chair Sutley, thank you for honoring us with your presence here on the left coast. I think you know what I see today as is a celebration of public-private partnership, and I'll explain a little bit what that means. But there's some reality to it, I think, that we can address right away, which is Mayor Lee. Mayor Lee made these stations happen. These stations were installed by us in January of 2009, 2 years, well before this thing was a wave across the United States, and Ed got it done in 2 weeks, and it's an amazing thing. There were 8 agencies involved, and so Mayor Lee is a get-it-done person, and I think that's part of why we're here today. The other partners in this for us are the Department of Energy, and we've been granted a $37 million project from the Department of Energy so we can give away 4,800 charging stations across the United States. And why did that happen? That's stimulus money. And every time we put one of these in the ground, 3 people go to work for a day. So we're creating tons of jobs. Now, those 3 people, 2 of them are installers, so you know that we're not outsourcing that. And the other one manufactures a station here in California. So we're very excited about how these things help the industry. The Air Quality Management District is also helping in a similar way to ignite this industry. And the state of California is in this too, making this happen and helping us fund. And this is not just about creating jobs, but it's about creating an industry. This is a new industry for the Bay Area. It does create jobs. Our growth was 400% year to year. We've gone from shipping a few like this, 3 to 25 every day, and it's growing at the same pace as we go forward into throughout 2011. So this is creating jobs. It's creating clean air. It's a great thing. We are the private business side of this. We can bring in venture capital. We can bring in some talent and experience, but it really helps get started with the public's help. We don't want to depend on the public going forward. This is just igniting an industry. It will thrive off the capital system. You know, people will buy these stations and install them, but it sure helps to get it started. So thank you for all your help. Thank you for coming here today, and thanks to all of you.
Good afternoon. I'm Eric Whitaker with Tesla Motors. A few years ago, just a small handful of engineers had an idea to build an electric car that would be fun, fast, and sexy. And just a few years later, that Tesla Roadster sitting behind us has come to the market, and it has proven to be a catalyst for other car companies to see that electric vehicles can be well accepted by the market. They can be exciting and fun. And we now not only make the Roadsters here in California, but we are exporting our components to Daimler in Germany, our battery and charger. We're exporting powertrains to Toyota to develop the new RAV4 EV. And we have created jobs. That's the bottom line. This company went from a small handful of engineers in 2003 to 1,000 people at the end of last year. We hired 80 more in January alone. And that will continue throughout the year as we build manufacturing in California, as we bring up the old NUMMI, the new Fremont facility of Tesla in Fremont to manufacture the Model S next year. We couldn't be more excited about the opportunities. We had a vision. We've shared your vision. The jobs are real. They've been created, and it's working fantastically well. And we really do think that we are on the verge of a revolution in transportation technology. And that revolution will give our children a cleaner, domestically produced, better, more efficient vehicle in the future. Thank you.
Oh, what a beautiful day. It's great to be here in San Francisco. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alana Chavez-Langdon. I'm with Ecotality. I'm the Vice President of Government Relations and Public Affairs for the company. Really excited to be here with you all and to work here and meet with Chair Sutley and Mayor Lee and Jean and Jared. The EV project, Ecotality is headquartered here in San Francisco. And we are thrilled to be a partner with the city to expand electric charging stations here in San Francisco and into the Bay Area. One of the major goals of the company was to electrify the West Coast. And with the expansion of the EV project, that is going to become a reality. We have completed the foundation for beginning the construction of an West Coast EV transportation corridor, and the Bay Area was a key hole to fill in that endeavor. You're hearing from a lot of the companies about job growth and job creation. Ecotality was probably about 30 people or so about a little over a year ago. That has gone over to 130 people. So this grant from the U.S. Department of Energy was a key stimulus for doing that. The EV project is funded by the U.S. Department of Energy through a federal stimulus grant. We received approximately $115 million, which was made possible by the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. That has been matched with private investment, now valuing the project at a total of approximately $230 million. It is the largest ever single deployment of electric vehicles and charging stations across the country. It's occurring in 17 different cities and markets across the country, and it's in 6 states and the District of Columbia. On February 2nd, Ecotality received a $2.87 million contract from the Bay Area Air Quality Management District to become the project manager of the organization's charging deployment program. We're working in collaboration with the Air District and our other partners to install a total of 2,750 charging stations, home charging stations, and 30 DC fast charging stations in the Bay Area. As part of the EV project, Ecotality has committed to install 1,500 Blink home charging stations and 20 Blink DC fast charging stations in the region. By the end of 2012, Ecotality has initially estimated that we have approximated 250 jobs will be created and or retained here in California as a direct result of the EV project. We're looking forward to working with the city, our friends at the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, and our friends in the EV space here locally to create a local, robust charging infrastructure and make the electric vehicle an optimal choice for Bay Area residents and businesses. Thank you very much.
Hi everyone, Chair Sutley, Mayor Lee, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen. Get this a little higher. Whoop. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. I'm especially proud to be here today on behalf of Better Place, which is a local company established here and with global operations in 8 countries around the world, leading the way to affordable electric transportation. I'm also personally proud as Better Place's North America lead to be here, as it was exactly on the spot, as Mayor Lee mentioned 2 years ago, that we launched the first North American full Better Place network. This is the start of the path to being able to take a piece of the $340 billion we spent last year on oil and start pumping it into our U.S. jobs growth engine rather than our gasoline engines. When we look at the Bay Area, there is no better place, and sorry the pun, the people here from public, private institutions, agencies have come together to really establish this as a model for the rest of the world. We believe that in order to meet that goal and take some of that foreign oil money and put it into our jobs and our economy, we would be able to do that only through exceeding the President's goal of 1 million vehicles by 2015. And recently, Better Place, along with our partners in the city, the Bay Area Air Quality Management District, are established or are going to launch a full electric vehicle corridor between San Francisco and San Jose. And for the first time, we will have truly zero-emission transportation without any kind of compromises on range or convenience. So I'd really like to thank the agencies, the city, my fellow industry leaders, and the public. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Rafael Reyes. I'm the director of the Bay Area Climate Collaborative. It's a pleasure to be here with Chair Sutley, the mayor, and these distinguished guests. These new advanced plug-in electric vehicles bring us a new sound. Instead of the groan of 100-year-old technology, turn one on and we get the hum of the most advanced technologies on the globe. President Obama set forth a vision to win the future, and electric vehicles are an integral part of realizing that vision. They give us a better way to power transportation. We don't have to spend $350 billion a year sending that money overseas to unfriendly countries for increasingly costly supplies of oil. There is perhaps no greater drain on our economy. We can invest that at home, innovate, and create jobs, and we can safeguard our resources. These advanced vehicles are not only fun to drive, but they cost less to fuel and operate. Electric vehicles can fuel at as little as 1/4 the cost of gasoline, creating more disposable income. With less than 10% of the Bay Area's 5.6 million vehicles as electric, residents could save over $800 million on fuel costs annually, and more as gas prices rise. This is money to invest, bring to retailers, and create jobs. Plug-in vehicles bring the information superhighway to the interstate highway. The hum of an electric vehicle means 21st century intelligent energy systems developed by some of America's leading companies, many right here in the Bay Area, including not only the great companies standing with us here today, but others such as Google with intelligent energy management software, Oracle with data management, Silver Spring Networks with smart grid integration, Cisco with networking. Unprecedented collaboration by business, local and regional governments, and nonprofits is making the vision real here in the Bay Area. Just in October, the region announced a series of game-changing projects supported in part by the Bay Area Climate Collaborative for taxis, municipal fleets, car share, and charging stations, ensuring that electric vehicle owners can get where they need to go. Vehicles in these projects will save over 700,000 gallons of gas per year, worth over $2 million, enough to drive across the United States 5,000 times in a typical car. Through this work, San Francisco and the Bay Area are helping America innovate, create jobs, and win the future. Thank you very much.
So next we're going to oh.
Sorry, I had a couple, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
One other person that hasn't yet been mentioned today who I did want to recognize that has been integral to ensuring that the electric vehicle infrastructure is built out here in San Francisco is the representative from the mayor's office, Johanna Parton, who is the director of climate protection initiatives. She's been also key to this effort, so just wanted to recognize her as well for her efforts. So now we are about to demonstrate the electric vehicle charger, how that works. There will be speakers available for press questions following the demonstration, and thank you all, everybody, for coming today.
So if we can drag Chair Sutley away, we're going to make her the center of activities. If you can help her.
Oh, here she comes. Perfect.